Yeah.
Back with another freaking
video. What's
Bring
going
one
on,
of these
guys?
trillion ones, man. Let's go.
When times get tough, you need to get down. No need to look backward, put your feet on the ground. Stand up, stand up.
Welcome to the FallenState. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Thank you so much for being with me. Remember that the FallenState is now on locals.com. So click the link in the description to support the work. And you can become a member of the FallenState, and that way you can support us as well on our YouTube channel there. I have with me today CBOW and SNAPPA from the CBOW and SNAPPA YouTube channel. Thank you guys again for coming on.
Oh,
No
most
problem.
definitely.
I
Thank you
totally
for having
appreciate
us.
it.
Yes, sir. Thank you
Amazing.
for having us.
I do want to ask, I noticed that you guys, what you do is critique other video.
Yeah.
How did you get started in that?
About 2017, we were, I was looking on YouTube and I started seeing that people would do these reaction videos. And I was like, I mean, we can do that. And so it started off just looking at other people do that years ago. And then we just like, let me try that. Let me see if we can do that.
And it seemed like it was fun, too.
Yeah.
Fun? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And something that we could do together.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are married, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You have kids?
No children.
No children?
Yeah.
Not yet.
How
Not
long you-
yet. You said not yet. Okay.
How long you been married?
It'd be 12 years this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Why no children? What the?
Well,
I don't know, maybe.
when you wanted
Yeah.
kids, I was just started grad school, and then when I finished grad school, he wanted to work on bodybuilding competition and wasn't ready, so we just kept going back and forth. I'm not ready yet. Okay, I'm not ready yet. And then we just decided, let's focus on the grind right now.
Really? Do you want kids?
I want one.
One? That's not enough.
That's enough.
Who-
They're expensive.
They are. How many you want? You want some?
If the Lord wants us to have one, it'd be one.
Really?
If that's in His will, it'd be one. Yeah.
But suppose he say 2
Ooh.
or 3.
Man,
You gonna tell the Lord no?
I want to tell him no.
We have to talk about it.
I want to tell him no, but he had to make sure that we are straight. He gotta
Really?
make- yeah.
He will if he wanted you to have more than one.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
He'll make the way.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He won't have you to have the babies and then not help show you how to take care of them.
Absolutely.
That's true.
So does your wife obey you?
Well, she obeys. She does.
She obey you?
Yeah.
You obey him?
Help me, Lord.
I can't.
Yes. At the final say, it's him.
At the final say, what does that mean?
Like when we like in the decision-making process, we talk about things, you know. So if I have an opinion or I have another viewpoint, you know, I share how I feel. But when it comes down like to the bottom line, then I'll go with what he says.
What if he really want to do something, buy a truck, and you really against buying the truck? And he's like, no, I'm getting the truck anyway. I don't care what you say. What the? How would you feel about that?
That's not his personality.
I'm sorry?
That's not his personality.
What do you mean?
Like when it comes to buying things and stuff like that, we run things by each other. But there's like a certain amount that we'll say, okay, well, let's not, you know, it's fine to not to discuss, but those types of things we talk about.
Plus, we have a number we have to discuss. If it's over this amount, we have to discuss it. So, no, we
So
have
if
to
it's
run
in
it
that
by.
range
Yeah.
and he came home with a truck, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
But it's over the range, then, you know, I would like to know the rationale behind it. Is this for
Really?
business? Is this going to be generating us some income or for leisure? Because we got goals and we're working on things.
Oh, I see. But if he did, you still stay happy and obey?
Be happy? I don't know. Obey? Yeah, I wouldn't, you know.
What do you think about women that don't obey their husbands and husbands who are not able to make their wives obey?
Obey that word.
That word?
That word.
What's wrong with that word?
I'm not too fond of the word obey. I
You're
feel
not?
like, you know, as a team, a husband and wife team should, you know, it's about superpowers and what your strengths are and what, my strengths are. But when it comes to the bottom line about certain things, if this is your strength and you feel like this is going to be the best for us as a household, then that's the way we should go.
Really? Does obey sound like a bad word to you too?
No, I think when you say obey, you're talking about the triage of how God wants it. Him, me, her. So you saying from that perspective. That's why I always assume when I hear you say obey. So from that perspective, no, it's not a bad word. I guess in this era, I guess it sounds like do what I tell you right now. So.
Obey sound that way?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about if the man was like that? Is anything wrong with that?
No, if his household and that works in his household, no, I don't.
Are you guys Christians?
Christians.
We are.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to be a Christian to you?
Believing in Jesus, moving like Christ did. Even though we're not perfect and we're not Christ, move under what Christ did.
Yeah.
Walk upright, represent the Holy Spirit, and I have so many interpretations of how I can say that, but submissive under Christ, if I can put it like that.
How about for you? What does it mean to be a Christian to you?
I'd say, walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah.
Not be as judgy, but,
Right.
Be able to understand people and to walk in love, as much as possible. I know that's what Christ was about, but he was also standing up for what you believe and making sure we respect other people.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you're a real Christian, you can't judge at all. You can discern, but you can't judge. You can't judge anyone for what their trauma might be.
Right.
You try to point the way they can overcome it. You can't even make them overcome it, but
Yeah.
you don't have to accept it. You just don't judge them for it.
Right.
That's amazing, huh?
I can agree with that.
Yeah. Would you prefer an alpha male or a beta male?
Alpha.
An alpha?
Mm-hmm.
And how would you describe an alpha male?
Strong, great decision maker, household in mind, seeks to put us ahead of the game, has a future focus, but also is present and wants to see us win, pretty much.
Yeah. Most black men are not like that anymore. Why is that? What do you think about it?
I guess because you have so many options now in the world where you don't have to be. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I knew you were gonna ask that question, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna process. Did? Yeah, I had to.
Like, what's wrong with the blacks?
But no, man. The world has changed so much to where men have become so submissive. I'm trying to think of a way, because I know your next one, you're going to go into your household, your upbringing, right?
You do? You been watching my show?
Oh, yeah, I watch your show.
What? No.
I watch your show.
I think for me, I'm going to say...
I'm trying to find a divide. I'm going to let you
Yeah.
see if you got a better divide.
I think that it's what's going on in the media, how, we're being portrayed, all of the options, the propaganda, and the independent women may make them feel a little less needed.
And you can be soft now. You can be a lot softer.
I know, but what's wrong with the grown individual man, 18 and over, excuse me, that he doesn't fight for his own life? We all go through things. Mm-hmm. We all have to overcome something. But up until this point in my life, and other guys I know, my age and maybe a little young, have always fought for their life. They don't rely on someone else to tell them how to be or what to be or how to do it. They don't just lay down and let someone take away their identity. What is wrong with the black man today that he allows that to happen as an adult and don't even try to overcome it?
I think that depends on the individual. I'm not going to say that's I don't think that's the majority. I don't have statistics on that, but I don't think that's every, black male or black person. I feel like, there may be many that are into the media that look at TV and or YouTube and the social media and have a false sense of of who they are. Because if they don't know who they are, then how are they going to feel confident to know what they want, to be able to portray and put things out there in a way that makes them feel good? It could be the absence of the male father. We know that is significant in our community.
Yeah.
However, there is research that supports, African-American males who come from single-parent homes also can be successful. It may be a lower percentage, but there are still, many males that are successful, that become multimillionaires, even though the father wasn't there.
Yeah, they may be successful financially, but still they're weak in nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're afraid to be themselves, to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And have you noticed that?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
why is that?
That's I was going to say that's like the one who joins gangs.
Yeah.
Because you need.
They always
somebody,
join a group.
Right, a group.
Some kind of group.
Because you feel more comfortable in a group than you feel on your own.
Yeah.
It's because you don't know how to stand on your own. So you need somebody can guide you. And that's usually what happens when they shift from the household and go into the gangs and stuff like that, is because there's a level of leadership that they don't have that they're looking for.
Upbringing.
Yeah.
That is so true. They're all looking for someone to lead them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't have the father or the grandfather, somebody, especially the father, around to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, huh?
I can
Amazing.
agree with that. I can agree with that.
Do you believe that? Let me ask. If you guys watch my show, you know I'm going to ask this.
Yeah.
Do you have anger?
Not too much, because I've had it, but I've had to go through deliverance and things like that to rid a lot of that anger from holding things in the past. So I'm not as angry. No.
So do you have anger?
That's not often.
You have anger.
Not
Do you
often.
have-
I get frustrated.
Wife,
But I ain't
yeah,
say-
you have
I
anger.
get frustrated,
What
but not anger.
Don't play.
Not anger, but I'm really kind of, I'm more kind of like this. So it's like
I
don't
think you
really
better
hold it.
control your emotions now.
Yeah. Then
12
that's-
years later.
Yeah, but we just said. Well, no, that's what we just
Now,
said.
but the key question he said is, do you have anger?
Right.
Okay. So minimal.
Do you have anger?
Minimal. Yeah.
And do you have anger?
You said what?
You see, you do.
Do
Do
what?
you-
What? Do I
Have
still?
anger.
Not really. No, I have frustration. I have frustration, but not anger mostly.
Can you have frustration without anger?
Yeah. Yeah. You
How's
can
that?
be
Since
frustrated.
frustration comes from anger.
I mean, you could be frustrated, but not angry.
When you get frustrated because you've had a feeling of anger,
Yeah.
and then you feel frustrated.
Yeah, but when I don't know, when I look at anger looks a lot more aggressive.
But it's not, though, it's weak.
Yeah. Frustration can just be be more irritated.
It's the son of anger,
Yeah.
the daughter of anger. You can't be frustrated if you don't have anger.
Anger.
That
Yeah.
does make sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So if to answer your question, a little level of yes.
A little level of yes. Okay.
So what do you think about your wife saying, yes, you do have anger?
Because it's been a long journey. We've been together for 14 years now. So she's seen me prior when I was very angry. So, and I won't claim it now. I won't say I'm, I won't put, because once you say you are, then you are. So I just say, I don't.
But how will you ever overcome it if you don't admit to yourself that you have it?
Well, I've gone through that. I had to go through deliverance to get rid
What
of
does
that.
that mean, deliverance?
Deliverance is spiritually when Christ heals you of the things that were making you angry. So, but I was going through church. Just when you have been spiritually, and I want to say spiritually and prophetically talked to, and you have been counseled, I'm going to put it through that way, through things that you have to release.
But if you still have it, a little bit
A little bit of it, yeah.
then Christ haven't healed you from it. Because Christ is not going to heal you from
Right.
a little bit of
Right.
it. You know what?
Right.
Let me just leave a little bit.
Just leave a little bit left. Leave a little bit left.
That's true.
So I want to say, so then I do have, and according to what you're saying, then there is levels of anger.
But not according to what I'm saying. You have to know for sure. Not just
I don't want to
because
lock
I
it
said
in. I don't want to lock it in.
But how will you overcome it though?
True. I mean, it's per case basis. It's what are you being angry about? Those things that I do, if it's something that's frustrating me or making me angry, what you're saying, those things are the things that I agree. I guess because God keeps revealing whatever that thing is that's making you angry that you need to deal with so you can release the anger of that. So is that kind of what you're saying? How do you deal with it that way?
How would you lead your wife if you have anger? Let's say she has anger and you have anger.
Yeah.
How can she look at the light and follow it if the light is dark?
Well, if you anger all the time, I don't know how a person could lead if they're always angry and they try to.
But not even all the time,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this question. So you stump your toe. First thing in the morning, you get out of bed, you hit that pinky toe. What does that do to you? You just be like, thank you, Lord, for that pinky toe bump.
No, not thank you, Lord, but I'm not gonna get mad. I'm like,
Okay.
oh, that hurt. What the? But that's it.
Okay.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So how will your wife follow you if you're angry?
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna just start saying what the, and then let's move it out.
You know that any man that has anger is
Yeah.
a woman, right? It's the nature of the woman.
Yeah, I knew that was the because you're saying because the nature of the woman comes from the mom because the mom is because the hell in the mama.
Yeah. You disagree with that?
Do I disagree with it? I mean, it's levels to that. I mean, you mean what if your father's in the household?
But we're talking about the mama.
Are we
right
just talking? But I'm saying, what if you have a balanced household?
Well, the father's supposed to be there
Yeah.
to protect the children from the mama.
Yeah.
Stand between so the mother can't pass her anger on to the boys and the girls.
Yeah. And that's interesting because my mom, I can't recall my mama being angry.
Oh, yes, you are.
I can't recall it. I can't
She was
recall it.
perfect?
Huh? She wasn't perfect, but my mom has always been sweet.
Well, those are
Not
the worst
angry.
one.
Yeah, my mom,
No one that seems so nice and sweet,
Yeah.
undercover they raising hell.
But my mom would always tell you like it is, but she never did it angry per se. I didn't really experience.
Passive aggressive.
Would you say passive aggressive?
Passive
So
aggressive.
she's more
See,
passive
same thing.
aggressive. But is that the same definition
Same
of anger?
thing. Yeah,
Okay.
It's just another form.
right. 1%.
Okay. You said 1%?
100%.
Oh, I think so. 1%.
So your mother, your mother didn't ever make you angry or do anything wrong that you resent her for? Or wish you wouldn't do or stop or...
Yeah, usually whenever she did that, it was because that was something I was doing out of line.
But because she had made you like her. When she was looking at you, she was looking at herself.
No, my mom is funny, man.
Have you forgiven her for what she done to you?
I've forgiven her for anything that I have, for certain things that me and her might not agree upon. But, yeah.
But have
I
you
have.
forgiven her for the mistakes she made and the stuff you did that you didn't like?
Yeah.
You
no,
told
for
her?
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Did you tell her that?
Yeah,
You
we
told
did.
your mother?
Yeah.
What did she say?
She didn't agree.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, she agreed now, but that,
Yeah.
with, years later and stuff like that. So you telling, how you go back and tell a parent about them
Yeah.
when you're an adult, parents still, they don't
The
see
ego
that.
doesn't
They don't
want
see
to-
that part.
They
don't
see it, but they don't want to admit
Yeah,
it.
they don't want it.
They definitely see it.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
And when you ask your father why did he protect you from her, what did he say?
Why he didn't protect me from my mama?
Yeah.
If I were to ask my dad that, I
Oh,
don't
you
know, I
haven't
could-
asked him? Mm-mm. Why not?
No. My biological father wasn't around.
Oh.
Yeah, my biological father, like I would visit him, but my stepdad was in my life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
Have you forgiven your father for not being there?
Yes.
You told him?
Yes.
You told him I forgive
Yeah.
you for that?
Yeah. No, I told him like in a conversation we had. I didn't say it in that way. I said it in a way me and him talk about what happened then till that point that we had talked
Right.
while he wasn't around. And then he, he just had his own little reason, but I
Right.
couldn't deal with it. His reason wasn't for me, that was him. The question I asked
That's
him was
right.
for, well, I
He
say
could
it was
say
for
it
me.
in his
He could
head.
say whatever,
Yeah.
but it was for me.
No.
Yeah.
You have anger?
I think I have anger.
Yes.
It's way better than it used to be.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by way better?
Like in my household, I grew up, my dad, was loud. It was like yelling going on.
Right.
So that was the way they communicated.
Yeah.
So I guess that was the way, by me being the last of 4 boys, I was the last of the kids. So I guess they made shift and changes as each child grows up, but that's how they communicated. So that's what I did. Yeah. But now when we talk, it's, I'm not loud.
Right. And have you forgiven your mother for imposing on you like that?
I have.
You told her?
Well, she's 83. She's here with us
You
now.
better tell her before she dies.
Stop it. Yeah, you know what, have I? I don't know if we've had that conversation.
I'm sorry.
But I've told her that, I've told her that
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be able to be in the position to take care and look after her and my dad. And I know that they did the best they could with what they had, because I felt like my parents were good parents.
But good parents don't pass on anger to the children. They don't fight one another.
Well, the way they raised, or I was raised, I didn't want for anything. They made sure I was in activities. Our power was always on. Never had to worry about water or food,
Right.
and we had conversations and talk.
But they were supposed to do that. They're the parent.
I know, but I work with kids, and that's not always the case.
I
And
know
so
it's bad
when
now.
you work with children and you see that,
Yeah.
and then it makes you look at your own life and like, wow, I didn't have to experience that. I always knew what my mom and dad was.
But why not go and forgive her before she dies so you could be free within?
I don't think I'm harboring anything.
But you still have the anger that came from her. And you're not going to be free. You know how God said if you want to enter into the kingdom, before you enter into the kingdom, you must go and forgive. And so if you don't go and forgive your mother, you're not going to enter into the kingdom.
Okay.
Because anger is of the devil. There's no love in it. It's very selfish. It's about self. It's never about anyone or anything. It's not even about the children. It's always about you. You try to make the children be the way you want them to be. You force your will on them and things like that.
Right.
And if you don't forgive your mother, you're going to do the same thing to your children should you have one.
Okay.
And it's going to be difficult for your husband to handle because he still had the anger too. It's a spirit that made a home in you. And only God can take it away, and he can't take it away unless we go and forgive.
Okay.
And you got to forgive your mother and your father for not protecting you. Your father can't handle your mother. That's why you were arguing with her. Because she.
My mom always seemed sweet when I was growing up. But I told my husband, I said, we didn't really get along when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I said, I know parents are supposed to tell their kids what to do, but I was like, she was always bossing me around.
Yes.
And then sometimes I felt like she wanted me to do things based off what she wanted to do.
Exactly.
Me and my dad, we had disagreements too, but it was different.
Yeah.
I could talk with him. My dad could be mean sometimes, but at the same time, I know he had my back. She had my back, but it was still different. The conversations that I could have with my dad, it was different.
When you would ask him to help you deal with your mother, make her back off, what would he say?
What would my dad say?
When you told him that, did he help you?
Well, yeah. And then it would seem like it would be them, going against each other.
But at least he was fighting to protect you from it.
I never saw it that way.
But that's what he was doing because fathers love their children, but the mother make the kids think the father don't love them because the mother hate the father, and she tried in her anger she tried to make the kids rotate around her. And the worst thing that can happen to a child is for that child to love their father.
Are you saying they hate the father if they're in a tumultuous relationship, or they're split? Because what if they they're in it's a great relationship. No one's perfect except for Christ, but what if they're in a great relationship and she don't hate the father?
But the only way that happened is that she had to have grown up close to her father, and then her mother didn't pass her anger on to her, then she would have love, and that would be fine. But that doesn't happen in families now, especially nowadays. And so the mother is jealous of the children being close to the father. And if you were close to your father, she hated you for that. And she hated the father for letting that happen. Because I'm your mama. I had you. I did this, right? But when she said, don't be close to your daddy, I don't like him. Here you are close to him. I had you, and you worshiping him. She'll destroy you. And
I do remember that a lot of, it would be times when, they would, have their disagreements, and he would say things, and I would, be like, oh, okay, yeah, but now based off what you're saying, it really makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really does. And yeah, I guess I will have that conversation because I was a daddy's girl.
Oh,
I was spoiled rotten. My dad gave me everything that I wanted. I didn't have to,
No wonder your mama hated you.
Stop.
You were in danger. It was like living in Beirut.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Really?
Mothers hate children that are close to their fathers.
Yeah, me and my dad,
I was close to my mama and distant from my dad.
Oh,
and my
man.
stepdad, but I was close to my mama.
I'm sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear.
I wanted to.
But you don't. Go ahead.
No, I always wanted to ask you that question, because you always had that question readily prepared, and your face be like this when you ask it. When you grew up, was that a thing? Where did your mom hate your dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And my mother tried to turn me away from him, but in my soul, in my body, I yearned for my father.
Okay.
And I knew that she didn't like him, but I still wanted my father, right? And so I would go and visit with him. My grandmother would let me go see him anyway, or whenever he's in town, he would come see me anyway.
Okay.
Because I had that yearning for my father. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I forgave my mother for that my whole life changed. God changed my heart from anger to love, and my whole life changed.
Okay.
So what is the thing that you have to be seeking for specific forgiveness? Because, I know when it came to my dad, he could never get anything right. It was always something that he did, that was wrong, that it was never, ever good enough for her. And she and I would have those conversations, and we, have had it up in her 80s where, I've always been the kid to be vocal and let my parents knew how I felt.
Nice.
Like my whole entire life.
If your father had gotten up and God came and picked him up and took him to work and said good morning to your mama, good morning, I'm here to pick up George, she would have hated him even worse. Because the spirit, what it is, the God above is the man God, and the God below is the woman's God. And it's not her, but the spirit of the devil in her.
Okay.
And if they have not forgiven, they grow in that spirit of hate.
Okay.
You said the God beneath the woman is the, what'd you say?
The devil, Satan.
Hold on, ask that question again. I'm trying to process it.
The God above is the man's God.
Okay.
And the God below is the woman's God.
That's cute.
And so that's why men are so hated by women, because they represent God. Even if they're a beta male, they've been turned away from the father, so they're a beta, angry, emotional man.
Okay.
Looking to the woman to guide them and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But they still represent the sons of God, right? They just may be weak because they've been turned away. And the spirit in the woman, which is of the devil, know that. It knows that is a representation of God. And so it worked through the woman to destroy that representation. If you don't understand it, it'll go on from generation to generation to generation.
And this has to do with what happened in the very beginning of Adam and Eve. Is that okay? Because now I'm like, okay, it's making sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I see where you're coming from.
That's why God said we must be born again of the spirit of the Father.
Yeah.
There will come a day when I return the children to the fathers and the fathers to the children. And until that happens, it's just going to continue going on. But once that happens, the mother and father the children, the boys and girls will be fine, and they'll pass on love to their children if they should have, and not hate. It will stop with them.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
It's your word, Jess.
No, does it make sense or not?
Does it?
It does.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
It does.
Now,
I never looked at it from that perspective.
In hindsight, it makes sense now for me, growing up and understanding, because I have 4 older brothers, and they grew up different.
Yeah.
And their
She destroyed
stories,
them.
it was, it was their viewpoint, was different. Now my dad still could be mean sometimes, but I know he was a loving dad.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me.
Boys and girls don't hate their fathers, and the ones that say they do, they hate their fathers through their mother's eyes. The mother may pretend she was the victim and made the kids feel sorry for her, impose her will, so they get angry. The moment they get angry, they identify with the mother, and they start seeing the mother the same way the father sees them. When inside they're yearning for the father, but because you become attracted to what you hate, controlled by what you hate. The mother has control over them then, and they're afraid to turn back to the father.
Yeah, this makes sense.
And so they yearn for their father. They don't hate their father.
Okay.
You got to forgive your mother, man.
Oh yeah, it's certain things that we still sometimes because we both kind of like what's the word we talked about that how like
you both are passive aggressive, in my opinion.
yeah, okay, and so we'll bump into each other with that one.
You just like her. I see her in you.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you got a picture of my mama?
I'm looking at her.
Oh, look, you got a personality.
Yeah, you're just like your mama. You don't want to be like your mama.
Nah, man. My mama was cool. But I'd rather have more coolness and connection with my mom. Well, no, me and my stepdad were cool, but the men, both of the guys, both my biological father and my stepdad were both going through whatever their own thing is, so I can't really, me and my mom, I was closer to my mom. Yeah, I was closer to my mom.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you know he was closer to mama before you married him? Why you married him?
Well, because he supported me, and he made me laugh.
Oh, he made you laugh and he supported?
Yeah, he was
and
very
so
supportive.
you married a mama's boy because he made you laugh. And then he made you angry.
But before we got married, we had some conversations. We had some real conversations about, decision makings and how we move in our household. So it took us a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was going to ask, and this is the last question because I know you want to move on.
No,
are you? Because you were married. Well, no, because you have a son, right?
Yes.
Would you ever get married or no?
Not now. Before I've been engaged twice, but
Engaged twice. Okay.
I wouldn't. I don't want it. I don't need to be married now.
Okay. Okay.
I do have a son out of wedlock, but and he has 2 kids, and the daughter's married, and she has 2, and so I have 2 grandkids and 2 great grandkids.
Okay. Okay.
I don't want that hell in my life.
I always wondered.
Why it's got to be hell?
Because women are hell. You know what I mean?
Companionship.
I'm enjoying it. It's so fun. Just ask questions. I'm laughing. Joy kind of like.
Am I hell? But, that's companion.
But I don't need no companion. I'm not. Because I have love in my heart now, God took the spirit of the devil away from my heart. He gave me his love. And in his love, there's nothing missing.
True.
It's like you have everything.
But then he made he made man, and he made a woman a rib from Adam. So
right.
if
you want to have children.
If you or
but I don't want to have children. I don't want to make it.
You don't want children. You don't want.
No.
Okay.
So, all right.
Marriage is only for children. If you don't want to have children, there's no reason to get married. Do you agree with that?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that either.
And why not?
Because people can cohabitate. I mean, well, not cohabitate, but they can be together, grow and love one each other, and serve a purpose in the earth, for God's kingdom together without having kids. Like it could be to have an organization to support kids and families of low incomes, to be able to send them to school, help with clothes, books, mindset, mental health, stuff like that.
But you don't need to be married to do that.
No, but you can be. That wouldn't be the sole purpose to get married, but that could be a purpose of a mission of a husband and wife after they get married.
I know, but if you're not going to have children, is there any real reason? Because if you want to start an organization, build a business, you can do that by yourself and hire people.
True, but what if you want to be loved and hugged and...
But if you don't have anger, you don't need that. You have everything.
So you hire Jesse,
You know
you
what I mean?
hiring girlfriends? You said you hire people.
If you need,
hire your
if you
girlfriend.
need, you know, somebody to do work for you.
Oh, okay.
You can
Okay.
hire them.
I thought the analogy you're trying to put that to two. I was
No,
like, wait
she
a minute
said
now.
that. What about if you want to start an organization or something?
Okay.
And I'm like,
okay.
you don't have to be married to do that. You just hire people, right?
But
For
love, I mean,
that per se.
if you want to love another person or love a man, then and decide you want to be together forever. You don't want to grow old by yourself. I think marriage is relative.
But if you have perfect love, right?
Yep.
Nothing is missing. And so if nothing is missing, you're not lonely. You're never alone. God is with you.
True.
You're never sad. You're not up and down. Nothing is missing. So there's no reason to look for a companion or anything. And you'll hang out with folks. It's not like you don't
Yeah.
associate with people.
Okay.
But you're not trying to get anything from them
I got you.
because nothing is missing.
Okay.
So you're not trying to get love and all that. Because when people try to get love with one another, if they have anger, they don't have love anyway, right?
Okay.
And so they try to get love for one another, and then when they first meet, they have sex and they call that love.
Okay.
And as soon as they get married, all hell breaks loose.
Okay.
Because if one person stopped giving the other person what they were getting during the dating, they're like, you don't love me. You used to treat me nice before. Oh, you don't care about me.
That sounds specific.
Right.
That sounds specific.
Why you don't treat me that way anymore? Because they try to get love, and when it was never love anyway.
I get you.
That makes sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't agree necessarily, but it makes sense.
it makes sense. If it makes sense, why don't you agree with it?
Because I still feel like, a couple or two people, a man and a woman, if they really are having the feelings of a strong emotion and love and they want to be together, then God condones marriage. So, well,
He's not against marriage if you want to get married, but
right.
the whole purpose for marriage is to make kids.
Make kids.
It's not to get love or anything.
I got you.
Yeah. So when you go and forgive your mama before she died, she's 80.
Yeah.
Is she still in Georgia?
No, she's out here now.
Oh, and she live with you?
Not anymore.
Oh, thank
Stop. It was rough.
Huh?
It was rough.
I'm about to ask, why did you put her in your home knowing that you're going to catch pure hell?
Well, I didn't. It wasn't. Well, she and my dad were together. My
Right.
dad passed in 2020, and she was in the house by herself, but she wasn't able to be there by herself, and we didn't know that.
So why not just put her in an Opal home somewhere down in Georgia?
Because financially, that wasn't the best.
yeah.
She had more. She was able to have more support here, and that was not something that my brothers were able to commit to. There, so
I'm sorry you
brought
went
up,
through
yeah.
all that.
yeah, it wasn't easy. And then we realized the level of care that she needs.
Yeah.
We couldn't provide.
Nice. And so you got rid of her?
No, we didn't get rid of her.
I mean,
But she's in the senior care center.
oh, good.
Yes.
Now, so go and forgive her. Hey, Mom, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you couldn't help it.
Okay.
Your mother did this to you. My daddy wasn't strong enough to correct you, to bring the hell out of you. And I'm sorry.
Okay.
And God will forgive. Don't ask for forgiveness. God said, well, we apologize for hating. That's what forgiveness. You couldn't help yourself. I realize it now, and I was wrong for judging you.
Okay.
And I'm sorry.
All right.
And have no expectation from her. She doesn't need to or have to apologize. She doesn't have to accept it or anything. God will forgive you.
Okay.
Because she'll make you say, I need to forgive you. She'll make it be on you, not admitting she did that to you.
Okay.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm gonna do it.
I think that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's still some great advice.
Yeah.
That's great advice for
I'm gonna
people
do it.
for dialed in and looking in. You should forgive.
And you don't even
Forgive,
know
that's-
that you
that's-
need to until that you have this conversation, which
That's
is
right.
outstanding.
Yeah. You're not going to, and then if you don't forgive your father, you would never know God.
I forgave my dad.
Yeah, it sounds like you have.
Yeah.
But you got to forgive your father, man. You'll know about God, you'll preach about God, you'll read the Bible, but you won't know him. Intellectually, you'll know about him,
Yeah.
but you would never be born of him because there's no way you can hate your earthly father and say you love God.
Yeah.
How
Wow.
can you say you love God when you hate your father?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely forgiven my dad.
But you didn't tell him that.
No, I told him. No, I told him. No, I did tell him I forgave him. But that was about 10 years ago.
But you haven't forgiven him.
Yeah, I have forgiven him, but.
Ain't no but.
No. Listen. I have forgiven my dad. He's just in a different place, and he doesn't understand it because his household.
But he doesn't
wasn't
need
right.
to understand
Yeah.
you. It's for you.
Yeah.
You don't need.
Yeah.
God said, "Go and forgive it. I will forgive you." He didn't say you need to understand it.
No.
Your wife needs you to stop being mama. Am I right?
You done got on and traded on me.
I'm not trading, but this all makes so much sense now. I can understand behaviors and
Yeah.
mindsets and understanding, things. And even for my own self, it's like, wow. It's like all this is in hindsight. But yeah, and stepdad too.
Yep. The worst thing that can happen to children, well, the second worst thing. The worst thing is to lose their fathers.
Yeah.
But the second worst thing is when the mother or the father bring in a different person. If the mother bring in a stepfather,
Yeah.
or the father bring in a stepmother, it's the worst thing that can happen to children. Because kids are never going to accept a step parent. Their heart yearns for their natural parent.
Yeah.
And a step parent, if he was the nicest, my stepfather probably one of the nicest men you ever want to know. He brought growth, he treated me well, but I didn't accept him because he wasn't my father. So it didn't fulfill my spirit. It wasn't until I got back with my father that I became whole again. So your mother should not have brought a man between you guys. You got to forgive her for that too.
I've never even thought about it like that, ever. Daniel, let me get an iPad. I got some questions for Jesse.
That makes sense, though?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, she was wrong for doing that.
It'd be so funny if she see the interview. I wasn't wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
No, she would.
No, she wouldn't say anything. She would
all
laugh.
the hell will come out of her.
She would laugh.
And she would blame it on your wife. It's your wife that you think like that.
No, man, that's all. That's all.
Can't you
good.
tell you're afraid of his mama?
Oh no, not afraid. Not
But
afraid.
then why don't you be honest with her and forgive her?
No, I have forgiven her.
No, you haven't.
We just sometimes can be both, like my wife said. I'd never use the word passive aggressive when I describe myself, but we both kind of like, that's where we bump.
Because you just like her.
No,
Two devils fighting one another.
I don't receive that. I
Why not?
love the Lord. I love the Holy Spirit.
You don't love the Lord if you.
Yes, I do.
You don't even love your mama.
Oh no, I do love her.
If you love her, you will forgive her.
I forgive her.
You
I
haven't.
forgave her. I did.
No.
I have.
But
I
then
have.
why haven't you overcome the spirit that's in her that's in you?
Just want me being like hard, like I forgave my mama. That's
No,
it.
no, I don't.
Scroll to the next question.
I'm not thinking that at all. I can see that your wife wants you to be.
Yeah. No,
She need to be able to look up to
Yeah.
you and know that she got a man leading her.
Yeah.
And I can tell she doesn't see it that way. Am I
No,
wrong?
I know.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah, I know.
Wait a minute.
No, I don't.
all new.
I don't necessarily. I don't feel that way. I think but we had this. We had conversations about. I feel way better about your decision making now.
But not
We had-
totally. Not totally. comfortable.
We had that conversation, didn't we?
We had that a while ago.
Yeah. So it's now I can trust. You can obey when you wholeheartedly trust someone's
That's
100% decision making. But if you don't wholeheartedly trust their decision making, then you're reluctant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I trust them much more now because your actions and behaviors have shown that you make better decisions yourself.
And do you trust it wholeheartedly?
98%.
How about wholeheartedly?
You know, you're supposed to come prepared with that question, but
I'm gonna not wholeheartedly,
Right.
but 98%.
because I have
And
made
that's
bad
why.
decisions in the past.
Well, I know,
I
but
haven't-
still, she want wholeheartedly.
Wholehearted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen until you overcome your mother. It just ain't going to happen.
Okay. Y'all see it on the camera. You forgive your mama, man. so you can be wholehearted.
Do you feel uncomfortable talking about it?
No, I don't.
okay.
I don't. But I never thought about it. It's so funny when we talk about it on the camera, but I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why God said to know thyself, the kingdom of heaven within. And the problem is most people don't know, nearly all people don't know themselves. They're constantly looking outside for the answers.
Right.
When all the answers are inside of us. And when we look within and see what's happening with us,
Yeah.
then we'll see what He allows us to see what's going on.
Right.
Then we go and forgive and we become free and we start living from within. And then you understand everybody else around you too. When you can see yourself, you're going to see others, but you won't judge them. You won't hate what you see.
That's
Okay.
right.
Because you understand what you're seeing.
The ability to self-assess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good.
Isn't that deep?
That's good.
It is.
And yet simple.
It is.
But most people, like you were saying, both of you were saying, you just hadn't thought of it. You hadn't heard of it. You hadn't really thought of it that way.
Right.
That's good.
Because when she came up here, I thought that, I had forgiven her from things from childhood because we would have conversations. I was like, I don't feel like I'm harboring anything, but I know how I feel now on the inside
Yeah.
is different than how it was when she was in the house because I would be frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was frustrated.
Yeah. Well, forgive her before she die.
I will.
And if she should die when you forgive her, just look at her. Oh, Mama dead.
Stop it.
What the?
She is,
And
she
then
good.
the insurance paper is in the kitchen, right next to, in that drawer next
Stop
to the
it.
silverware.
Stop it. She,
And then
she
go
got
and
long
cash it in
life. Stop it.
and have a little cheap funeral. And then once you get all your money back from the money you spent with her in your house, then give the rest of the money to your brothers.
Stop it.
But
And then he didn't say get the pen out the desk. He said get out the junk drawer.
Right.
no, the insurance paper always, how black people put it.
Right,
in the
exactly, in the junk drawer.
Junk drawer. We used to call it
Right.
junk drawer.
Oh, that's
Yes.
yeah.
We don't have no junk drawer.
No.
But that's
But
a junk
she-
drawer. You
she's
have all a bunch
good.
of crap in there.
Absolutely.
God
Well,
told me that she had the potential to live as long as her mom if she wanted to, but I don't think she wants to be 100.
That's when you need to rush. But
Hey, according to the show, we're supposed to be on politics by
I
now.
know. I'm about to
Stop it.
move on now. But this is what's wrong with all the black people.
Wow.
And
I
it
can
had-
see it.
Oh,
It had
now.
nothing to do with racism. It had
it.
nothing to do with system or slavery or any of that stuff.
Okay.
It starts in the home. They hate their mothers. And they must be born again. They must return to the fathers.
Okay.
The boys and the girls, the men and the women.
Yeah.
It ain't about racism at all.
Nothing to do with slavery.
Nothing to do with slavery. Zero.
Yeah.
The slaves are all dead anyway.
Yeah.
True.
With my generation, I'm 74, right? In my generation, we didn't have no problem with slavery and stuff like that. They didn't sit around and preach about slavery. They taught us to work, to respect ourselves and others, to be an individual, take care of yourself. They didn't say, oh, y'all can't make it because of slavery.
Yeah.
We can't make it because of slavery. That wasn't even in my mind because it wasn't in their mind.
Right.
And my great-grandfather was, my great-grandfather ran the plantation that I grew up on at one time. And another black guy was fired from a plantation, and he came over, according to the stories that my grandparents told me and everybody. He came over and asked my great-grandfather for a job, and he gave it to him. And then those white people from that plantation said, no, you can't hire him, don't hire him. My grandfather said, no, you can't tell me what to do. My great-grandfather.
Yeah.
And they came one night for him, and he had his gun under the bed, so he ran them away. And then they came back another time, but my great-grandmother had removed the gun from the bed, and they were ready to kill him. And then they asked, well, why did you move the gun? She's like, I didn't want him to get in trouble. I didn't want him to do anything wrong. She got the man killed.
Yeah, that's deep now. Hey, that's deep. That's
Wow.
'cause you said
And yet we weren't taught to hate. They knew it was spiritual battle. That was evil.
Wow.
They didn't say that was racism. They didn't blame it on slavery. They said those are evil people that did that. And they taught us to treat all people, even our enemies, don't hate our enemies. And it doesn't mean you agree with something that's wrong, you just don't hate, because people are driven by evil, they can't help it
Right.
until they're born again.
Okay.
what made you shift from when you, because I know when I was looking at some of the backstory when you used to be on the Democratic side, and you were going for like Jesse Jackson.
I came out here and listened to that mess. When I moved to LA at 18, I was young.
Yeah.
And I thinking that Jesse Jackson, those guys were grown men that was telling the truth and leading Louis Farrakhan and all
Yeah.
them. And I believed in it. And once you believe in lies, it's hard to believe the truth again.
Right.
Now that's
Right.
yeah, but that's solid.
Right.
And it wasn't until I realized, you know, my life got worse. It hadn't gotten better. And I asked God to let me see what was wrong with me. Because I was going to churches, I was praying, reading the Bible,
Yeah.
and all that crap. And not crap, but
I was about to say, wait a minute.
it wasn't helping.
I got you. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, man, I was like,
Yeah.
this ain't the Scientology
No,
business.
but it wasn't until I asked God to let me see myself, because I'm a volunteering in the church, giving tithing and offering and all that. But I wasn't getting better. I still had this fear, I had anger, I had the insecurity. Whenever I dealt with a woman, I was afraid to speak up to her and deal with her the way she needed to be dealt with.
Yeah.
So I finally asked God to let me see what's wrong with me, and He allowed me to see that I resented my mother, who had tried to turn me away from my father. And so I had believed into the lie of Jesse Jackson and all those people. And I went and forgave, my whole world changed.
Wow.
I was no
Okay.
longer a Democrat. And I read the platform for the first time of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And then I read the platform of the Republican Party.
Totally
And the
different.
Democratic Party was anti-God, anti-family, anti-military, they're really anti-black too. They don't like black people.
Nope.
They just use blacks.
Yep, for votes.
And then I read the Republican Party, they were about God, country, freedom,
Yeah.
independence. And I'm like, wow, I'm gonna be a Republican. So
Yep.
that's why I switched.
Yep.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
Amazing. Were you guys, are you guys conservative or liberal?
Conservative.
Were you Democrats at one time?
We were.
And then what happened?
When we started looking at videos, I think it all started when we started researching slavery.
Yeah.
And we started seeing the truth behind that. And all the details that black people
It
aren't
was
told.
the Democrats who owned the slave and carried
Absolutely.
on like that.
Absolutely.
And how it was a world,
And it was
you
a-
know, a world
babe.
trade, a commodity of how it was the lifestyle for the world to exist. So it was a form of industrialization
right.
for every single country. So every culture has been enslaved. Asian people, a small amount, but Asian, Africans, I mean, every race has been enslaved because that's how that country was developed.
As a matter of fact, in Africa, the blacks enslaved other blacks in
They
Africa.
did, and they
And
treated them the worst.
Right.
Yep.
That's
It was
right.
horrible.
And they used them as money. If they need to buy a cow,
Yep.
they sold a black
Yep.
to another black
Yeah.
to get a cow.
Yep.
What? No.
Yep.
But they don't want us to know about that because they want to control the black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they make you want to think like, okay, it was chattel was only here. No. Chattel was not just chattel.
It was
The
everywhere.
chattel
It was
ideology
everywhere.
didn't come from America.
That's right.
The Arabs had that. They were doing it worse.
It was the Arabs who bought the blacks from the other blacks in Africa and sold them around the world.
Yep.
What? And they want to blame that on the white man.
Yep.
What the?
Right. But when we learned this information, we were like,
Light bulb.
wow.
That's
Light
right.
bulb.
Oh my gosh.
Light bulb.
That's right.
That was a light bulb moment.
Did y'all see Uncle Tom too?
I saw one. We saw one. We
you
haven't seen
need
two.
to see two.
Okay.
What's your opinion of the civil rights movement?
That it was just a rah-rah.
Meaning
And
what?
it was, ooh, I need to, how much of black did it help? Did it, what, I mean, you came through that era,
I
so
was down there.
you got a different point of view because you
Right.
were there versus us looking
mean-
at it.
Absolutely.
You know, so.
I feel like it was relative for the time because it appeared, or what was shown is that by them sticking together nonviolently, they were able to penetrate things over time because they stood together. Or on the flip side, did it appear to be that? You know, was it that it looked like as they were gathering that things were shifting, but, you know, it later came that they realized that it was unjust, so maybe they wanted to change laws. But I still feel like, you know, to a degree it was relative. They made some changes
The worst
early
thing
on.
that ever happened to the blacks, other than abortion, was the civil rights movement.
Really?
It was a socialist, communist movement. And Jesse Jackson and all those people, Martin Luther King, they just wanted to take control over the blacks. And they used the bus thing and that, pretend like it was all, because prior to that, the bus deal wasn't no big deal. You know, they saw that, but it wasn't a big deal. Blacks were working, they were independent. There were black bus owner companies, right? They didn't want. They couldn't. As a matter of fact, because they couldn't ride the white bus in the front, whatever, black businesses opened up their own buses.
Okay.
You know, but they didn't want that. They wanted to control the blacks so that they could gain power and wealth. It was about socialism.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, the older blacks would tell us, don't be a part of that mess.
Really?
Don't get involved with that. They knew it was a setup.
Wow.
And then Jesse Jackson, they set themselves up as the leaders of the black, and to this day, they're leading the blacks right to hell.
So what about, I'm sorry, what about the burning up of Black Wall Street then?
Did they tell you that that was between a black family and a white family that had a dispute? And they got angry?
No.
You need to watch Uncle Tom too.
Okay.
It explains it so well.
Okay.
And did you know that once they burned it down, once they destroyed it, whatever happened, that the blacks rebuilt it? They rebuilt Wall Street.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They make it seem like once it was burned down,
It
died.
Yeah.
They call it a terrorist attack and all that. They rebuilt Black Wall Street because blacks then had a different mentality. If those blacks were around today to tell you what really happened, it would be nothing like what you've been told.
Wow.
It would be nothing. And they got proof of that in the film.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not just making it up.
And,
Okay.
I think, you know, when we saw Uncle Tom 1, the first Uncle Tom, and are we good on time? I don't want to rush it through. I don't
No,
rush
go
through.
ahead.
But I saw him. But that was one of the reasons why we switched to the Conservative Party from Uncle Tom. Between the study of that and then when we saw Uncle Tom 1,
Yeah.
and when you were explaining, and we saw Officer Tatum, and we saw the explanation of from the difference of the Democrat to the Republican, we were like, well, we definitely not Democrats.
And real quick, my mom was in 2020. She was already there, and all of us, my brothers, you know, other people were totally didn't even see it. And she was like, Trump, 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 and
We were like,
everybody
"This
was
lady
like,
crazy."
and she was loud about it. I mean, even the representative come to the door, you could see it through the ring, going off with them about
The ring alarm.
yes, going, you know, about being Republican. And we were like, man, she is crazy. What is this going on? But she was
from
trying to
old
get
school.
us
She
to
know the
see.
truth.
She
Yeah.
was trying to get us to see, but we weren't there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why Trump, the older blacks like Trump because he's from the old school. They know what that is like.
Yeah.
And so it's not about the color thing, it's about the character of the man.
That's right.
And they like that. It's gonna blow you. Once you all see Uncle Tom too, it's gonna bring you all the way home.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, we got to watch that.
It's
Yeah.
gonna bring you all the way home.
Okay.
Got to watch that.
Because it's nothing but the truth and the facts to prove it and everything.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
It's amazing.
Okay.
You know what? We haven't talked about nearly what I thought we were gonna be talking about.
That's all right. Maybe God had to set up so we talk about the things that we talked about.
Yeah. So are you gonna forgive your mama?
I am.
You gonna tell her?
I'm gonna tell her. And she coming up here. She coming up here next month. So I got to
Get
tell her
ready.
face to face.
She gonna have a hissy fit.
Yeah.
And you gonna be shaking in your boots.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Yeah. He gonna be like, Mama.
She's sweet. My mother-in-law is sweet.
That's what you think.
She is
when
sweet.
you about to see sweet turn bitter.
She's sweet.
If he goes and said, Mama, you know what? I forgive you for. I realize now some of that stuff you did was wrong. Sweet would turn to bitter.
I might need to tell her to
She's
go back
sweet.
to Atlanta.
Yeah, you better
That's
about.
the case.
You better wait.
Tell her to get back
I
to
want you
Atlanta.
to watch it too. He gonna be shaking his boot.
Okay.
Mama, don't get mad now. You did some good stuff, but I realize I resent you for some of that stuff you did. You gonna shake in your booth, but it'll be the last time you ever have to shake.
Okay.
Yeah.
It really will. And your heart will change from anger to perfect love, and you will have no anger, so you would never be frustrated. And you will be 100% for your wife.
Okay.
And that's what she wants. That's what she needs. That's what she wants. She wants you to be whole. Am I right?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Why you look like that?
No. Wait till we get in the car. I'm just joking.
I was just thinking that.
No.
Supposed to be on
my
It ain't like that. It ain't like that. No, but I
If he
agree.
does do that, I'm gonna have you back on by yourself.
I'm gonna let you know too. We're gonna email
I checked the
Daniel.
email.
Tell him, okay?
I checked the email. Wait a minute, Snappa.
I know. But it'll be the last time you shake.
Yeah. Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah,
And forgive your
definitely-
father
definitely.
too. He couldn't deal
Yeah.
with your mother.
Yeah.
Because your mother is just like his mother. And because he hasn't overcome his mother, the woman is his God. And he didn't know how to deal with his false God. He loved you. He just had no idea with his mama.
But you know, my dad and my stepdad, dads weren't in their lives.
But same thing. And fathers don't leave their children, they leave the mother of the children. They love their children, but the mother makes you think they left you.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to tell you, you know what, your dad left me because I was a bitch. And he couldn't handle me. He just couldn't handle me, but he loved you. It was me he loved. They're not going to tell you that. The ego won't let them.
Wow.
Isn't that true?
Well, I learned a lot of things.
Interesting.
Yeah, I learned a lot of things.
Amazing, huh?
Amazing.
It is.
We done had church up in here. I didn't know we were going to do that.
Well, we believe in divine appointments. We believe that
Yeah.
God orchestrates things and it happens, you know, things happen the way it's supposed to.
Especially those who want what's right.
That's right.
Because he know our heart, right? If you want what's right, he's going to put you in places where you can find what's right.
That's right.
And
That's
it's,
true.
everything's inside of you, right? And once you start looking at you, see what's going on. Did you know that all thought, you heard me say all thoughts are all lies all the time? There's no such thing as a true thought. Have you heard me say that?
No.
All thoughts are all lies all the time.
Okay.
There's no such thing as a true thought. You believe that?
All thoughts are all lies.
How so? When you think,
Have you ever had a true thought?
I guess you have to define what is a true thought.
about, I mean,
And I guess
Well, how
have
do
to
you know
define
it's
what's
true?
What's
Like,
a
how do you-
lying thought?
that's a good question.
I'm sorry?
I'm like, that's a good question. I feel like I have true thoughts.
Like how, for example? Do you create your own thoughts?
Through affirmations and declarations.
You create your own thoughts?
I say it over and over so I can retrain my subconscious. So I guess.
Do you create your own thoughts?
I don't know. I think it's automatic. But through subconscious reprogramming, can't you design? And that's what the subconscious reprogramming is. It's about being able to reprogram your conscious mind through your subconscious. So if you want to think more positive, if you want to feel better, that comes with repetition of the new language that you want to accept, and then you can start thinking it.
But if you create your own thought, why you need to do all that?
True. I got you.
So do you create your own thoughts?
I guess not.
How about you?
I mean,
Based off what he said.
I know. I'm gonna answer. I'm just because you know how you want to answer the question, but you want to answer the question
Well,
the way
he
you
just
want to
said.
answer.
Yeah, he just said it.
So what's a true thought then? So
Do you
then I
create
can.
your own thought?
Do I create my own thoughts? No, you don't, because they pop in.
And so if they popping in, where are they coming from?
Others.
It depends. Well, some thoughts come from God when you get whispered to. The Holy Spirit still whispers to you,
I agree.
and you can.
When
and
have the last time you had a thought from God?
A thought from God would have been specific. It would have been maybe yesterday that I know it was God.
And what makes you think it was God?
Because He'll speak things that I know that never come to my head, thoughts that never come up, and then I can reference back to the Word.
And so God talk to you through thoughts as well?
Well, it feels like a thought, but I mean, I feel confident to say I know when I'm hearing his voice.
And what does his voice sound like?
It's like the still in the back of a forest, you know.
And where?
It's like a quiet voice that comes from the back of a forest.
A
like
forest? Oh, like woods?
Yeah.
And it come from back of a wood, you say?
Yeah, it sounds, it's how quiet it is. Like no matter where I am, it could be, a lot going on, but I hear this quiet voice and I feel a sense of peace inside. I know that's him. And then he speaks in words that I don't normally say or talk to myself.
The one thing I want to tell you that, you know how God said, bring every thought into captivity?
Mm-hmm.
Every thought.
Yes.
Because all thoughts are from the devil. My voice is a quietless voice. He doesn't speak. He allows you to see. You know how you're seeing about this relationship with your mama? It just makes sense. It's not coming out of your head. It's something in you that's allowing you to see that. That makes sense.
Okay.
That's God's voice. It's not me, it's not you, it's not the devil. He said bring every thought, because all the devil does, he makes you feel good, and then as soon as you're feeling good, and he'll say, this is from God, right? And you think, wow, this is from God. Then he bring you down. by giving you a negative thought or bad thought.
Okay.
And now you're down. And then you have to go and get something to make you feel good.
Okay.
And you're up and down, right? And then that's why you want to jump off a bridge somewhere. Because all those, God's voice works from within.
Yes.
And he just allows you to see. He doesn't talk to you. It's a voiceless voice. And it's within.
Well, thank God the devil isn't omnipotent and omnipotent and what's the
Omnipresent?
omnipresent.
You said what now?
Well, thank God the devil isn't omnipresent.
Is that in
God
Africa?
isn't. Huh?
That's in Africa?
No.
You said omnipresent, that's
Yeah.
That's
no,
in Africa?
where he can be anywhere and every time. Well,
Who?
the devil can't. The devil can't be anywhere every time.
In your mind, he can.
Well, he can plan. I believe
Once
he
you
can-
overcome the mind, he can't. Because God would, the light of God, and that's what's going to happen when you go and forgive your mother and forgive your father. God, the light will come on, and it would take the devil away from you. It will rebuke you, the devil, from you, your mind. And you won't have to deal with him anymore. And you just walk by the light and not by the darkness.
Okay.
But all thoughts are all lies. When your husband said he loved you and you said you loved him, y'all were lying to one another.
No, we weren't.
Yeah, you were totally lying.
No.
So if you weren't lying, why did a fight start later then?
No. Because
But love is broad. I mean, love.
Abroad?
It's like broad. It's, you know, it means multiple things. Love is, you know, positive. Love can be sometimes.
No such thing as part of love.
Okay.
Really. Love is just simply not hating. When you
Okay.
don't have hate, you have love.
Okay.
what's the definition? What's the full definition of love?
Love.
Jesse. Dang, where my iPad at?
I know when you talk about all that stuff they teach you in the church
No.
about agape
No.
and Sydney and I'm not present and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Love is just when if you forgive your mother or you're gonna see what love is.
Okay.
It's the nature of God.
Okay.
God is love.
But when people, so many people say they hear God's voice. I know when I feel like I hear, you know, the Holy Spirit, he says, he talks in words and says things to me that I know I wouldn't say to myself. I wouldn't think this.
When those people tell you they hear from God, they call it Satan God. Satan is pretending to be God.
Wow.
And he'll quote the Bible to you. He'll act like the light, but he's the darkness. He's a liar, but he's pretending to be God, and he lives in your imagination and emotions.
But God does that as well. Satan has had a lot of time to roam this earth to be able, and he knows the scripture better than
But he
most
lives
people.
in people, though.
Yeah, through his I call them his minions.
He
the
lives in the
spirits.
imagination.
Yeah, because you know why? Because it's at one time, and most of the time it's when you were younger, you had whatever that experience is, and then you let in what I call
When
his
you
minions.
start hating your mother, he enter in.
Or when you hate, period.
Right, but
That's
it
a
starts
doorway.
at
That's a
home.
doorway
though.
for a
It
spirit.
starts at home, and then
Yeah.
if you stay with that anger, he grows in your imagination
Okay.
and emotion.
Yeah.
And you feel like love and you feel like hate, but that's not. And anyone that feel like love and feel like hate and feel like love, they're divided. And they're of the devil. You want to be whole. And the only way you're going to be whole, you got to return to the Father from within.
Okay.
You don't want to be divided. If you got love, you got hate. That's not the way God operates. God is just love. He's not hate, period. He's not up and down. He's solid.
I
Do you?
gotcha.
So you don't
That make
love
sense?
or hate?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And the reason it makes sense, he'd allow you to see that. He's drawing you back in. Once you forgive your mother, you're going to enter into the kingdom, and the rest will be history.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And again, don't have any expectation. You don't need her to apologize. If she does, fine. It's good for her. But you apologize for resenting her, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Amazing.
Amazing.
You're going to have to help your husband.
I didn't know we're coming to Jesse's show for this now.
I know, me either. I got to put you on the hot seat because we
Okay.
are totally out of time.
Let's go. Okay.
That went by fast.
I know I need you to answer these as quickly as possible.
Okay.
The hot seat.
What is a man?
Me.
What is a man?
Him.
And when you say him, he hated mama. He scared of mama. How you man?
Masculine.
Stay with him.
Masculine. Buff. Chocolate.
Oh, you mean the physical.
Sweet.
But that's a male. What is a man?
Biologically, the X and the Y chromosome.
Okay. Is it ever okay for a man to hit a woman?
No. That's weak.
How about if she hit you?
No. Shouldn't be hitting you either.
Oh, what did you say about that?
Shouldn't be hitting me either.
What did you say?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think lick should be passed either way.
Yeah.
Is it okay for women to play in men's sport?
No.
I don't particularly
No.
care for that.
Is it okay for men to play in women's sport?
Nope.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. No.
Did you know that July is White History Month?
That's the funny one.
Right.
That's what?
That's always the funny one I hear you say that one.
Yeah.
No.
Because you said because July feels white.
Right. Doesn't July just feel white?
It feels white.
I don't know how that feels. I mean, the 4th of July. Right. I mean, patriotism, I guess.
Relaxation,
Yeah. Okay.
vacation time.
Okay.
Reflect,
Right.
barbecue and chicken.
Yeah. Okay.
Does July feel white?
Oh my God. July feels patriotic.
Yeah.
Is it okay for a black man to love the Confederate flag?
You've been looking at some of our old videos. Hey.
So what?
You look at some of our old videos.
Oh, y'all talked about that?
Long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess
Is it
so.
okay for a black man to love the Confederate
It
flag?
is. It is. It is.
Should a black be allowed to call each other the N-word?
No, we shouldn't.
Technically, no, especially if we don't want other people calling us that. But I know we do.
Did Big Mama Michelle Obama eat up all the ribs?
She probably didn't.
I'm sorry?
She probably didn't.
Did Big Mama Michelle eat up all the tamales?
The tamales.
Does a chicken have lips?
No.
Does the bear shit in the woods?
Probably.
Yeah.
Have you ever told a person how the cow ate the cabbage?
But cows eat grass, so they probably eat cabbage too.
And cabbage.
They probably eat cabbage too. They're vegetarians.
Mexican food or soul food?
Ooh, that's
Ooh.
tough. I'm still gonna go with the soul food. Collard greens, candy yams, macaroni and cheese, black eyed peas,
Ooh.
cornbread.
I can't wait for the 4th of July.
You gonna have soul food on the white day?
No, I'm having all barbecue.
Okay.
Is the earth flat or round?
Round.
Did you have fun?
I did.
Did you?
I sure
Super
did.
fun.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was.
Wow.
Yes.
What the?
What the?
Yeah, this was
Oh,
great.
man, I had
This was
too much
Thank
great.
you guys for coming. Tell the folks how to get your YouTube channel, whatever it is you guys want to promote.
What we talking to? This one. Talk
Right
to
here.
anyone.
Yeah, right.
Follow us on YouTube, CBOW and Snappa. Also on Instagram, CBOW and Snappa. CBOW and Snappa across the board, every platform.
And also you can follow me on Snappa TV on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
Yep.
And CBOW is CBOW.
That's right.
And Snappa is SNAPPA.
That's right.
Just in case, 'cause, you know, I'm black and slow and I had to look at it to spell it.
Gotcha.
Country boy out west, CBOW.
That's right. Amazing. And thank you all for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate it. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, check out our merch, and remember that The Fallen State is on locals.tv.com. I'm sorry, locals.com, right? So click the link in the description and become a member of the YouTube channel to support our work. Let me hear from you and any other guest suggestions, let us know. Thank you all, and thank you all again.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yes. This is great.